this webinar, we're going to show you how hundreds of small business owners have used a unique marketing operating system to double their sales, while saving time and money. Most of us are probably drivers. Someone taught us how to drive, but imagine what it'd be like if we had to learn on the road. Absolute chaos, most likely. But when it comes down to marketing, that's exactly what small business owners do. They try this or that till something works, which isn't always easy with limited funds. There are many owners that don't know how to market their business. They rely on referrals, and it's not a reliable model. So what do? These small businesses can only try doing everything themselves with no training or support from others in an attempt at promoting themselves successfully, which often leads these companies down the same path of least resistance route without much success. This forces them to take a risk with their marketing. This week they might try some local paper advertising, or next week they will use Facebook ads. But as an expensive game, and because this can be a very skilled thing for most businesses who don't know what they're doing, those strategies often do not work out well in the end. It also takes up their time, which means either it interferes with other things they should be doing in their business or their lifestyle. But what if there was a step-by-step way to set up your marketing for your company to massively improve your business? Well, there is, and is what being successfully used by hundreds of businesses worldwide. It's a coaching program that was developed by a digital marketer, probably the largest marketing education company in the world. Now, digital marketer does not provide coaching services themselves. They leave that to their certified partners, who are trained and certified by them to provide this coaching. We at Beverly Hutton Marketing have been working with digital marketer for many years, and so have gone through this training and have delivered the coaching. But for many small businesses owners, there is a problem. This one-to-one coaching, although it is an extremely good value, it's beyond their means in both cost and time requirements. This bothered us because there are a lot of small businesses struggling to grow and no one is helping them. So we developed a solution that delivers the value but in a format and price more suited to their small business owner, and that is the Small Business Sales Accelerator. We start off by introducing our methods to get a better understanding of your current situation and where you want improvements. The second phase of this four-phase process is the build phase, and here we get a holistic view of your current marketing processes with our proven frameworks and begin to identify areas for optimization. In the third phase, the optimize phase, we identify what your customers are excited about what you have to offer, develop a process to convert customers into a predictable and scalable way, and define, rate and prioritize different opportunities within your marketing strategy. And then we create a specific measurable action plan to improve key metrics that will help scale your business. And in the final phase, we will review your progress over the past three phases and continue to scale using tools and tactics tailored to your business's needs. This training will help you to grow your business on your terms, so in your time and at your cost. The results are not guaranteed. Your results will depend on your input. What do some of the people who have worked with us have to say? Here's Darren Carrington, an Englishman living in the Middle East. He seemed to like working with us, as you can see. Here's Christine Williams, a New Zealander. And finally, we have Claudia Volz, a German. So you can see we have a few clients around the world. So you're ready to grow your business on your terms. Well, currently you're probably doing this. You're wasting time and money trying to market when it's not your skill, and you're not having time to apply your skills, the ones you set your business up to utilize to grow your business. Remember, when you set up the business, you wanted to do what you wanted to do, but you're being forced to do lots of other things. You're feeling frustrated, and that's affecting your personal performance, and you haven't got a lot of confidence in your marketing at all. Your business does not have a consistent flow of customers, clients to allow for future planning. Business is not consistent to allow for leisure time, and you cannot choose clients, so sometimes you get a bad one. You've tried quick fix methods which have not worked. You've wasted time and money on marketing hacks. You can't afford a marketing agency to have it done for you, and you can't afford to hire a marketing person. You feel stuck and out of options. But what you're going to learn today will allow you to effectively get more sales through your marketing, be able to concentrate on using your core skills to make your business better without wasting lots of time and money, without needing to employ someone internally to run your marketing, without employing a marketing agency. Now, common objections we get is there's a lack of trust in the marketing industry. Well, yes, and a lot of it is deserved because there are a lot of charlatans out there. But I think you'll see from what other people say about us that we're not like that. People think marketing is expensive. Well, it's not expensive. If it's done properly, you'll get a very, very good return on your investment. The initial cost can be large, and that's what we're trying to bring down at the moment. You say you tried it before and it didn't work and you lost money. Well, yes, but did you do it the right way? Hopefully we can show you how to do it the right way. You think we might be a bit too old to be any good at this online stuff. Well, Beverly, my wife, has been in marketing for over 40 years, and I'm an engineer by training and have been working with computers for 40 years and building websites and doing my own marketing for my own businesses since the late 90s. You might think we don't have your industry knowledge. Well, that's maybe true, depending on your industry, but we do know small businesses, and unlike most marketing agencies who are just marketers, we actually have run our own small businesses. And certifications. You might think, oh, what do you know? Well, here are a few of our certifications. So, who am I? I'm the ugly one on the left, and my name is Ed Hutton, founder member of Beverly Hutton Marketing. On the right is my beautiful wife Beverly, and in the centre, some of you may recognise him. That is Ryan Dice, the CEO of Digital Marketer. Beverly and I set up Beverly Hutton Marketing in 2015. Beverly has been in sales and marketing for 40 odd years, and I have been an engineer for a similar time. We both run our own successful small businesses, Beverly in areas such as hospitality, residential lettings and recruitment. But I also run my own small engineering business for 16 years. And because of our background, we're passionate about helping startups and small businesses overcome the initial hurdles of growth. Well, now, who's this training going to be for? Well, it's for small business owners who want to grow their business in a predictable and scalable manner. It's not for owners who want everything done for them. So here's what we're going to cover. Part 1, the seven biggest mistakes that separate the struggling small business owner from the successful ones. Part 2, how to position yourself in front of your ideal customers. And then part 3, how to build a marketing operating system for your business so you can get more sales with less work. So let's get into part 1. Mistake number 1, which is not having a strategy and just doing random acts of marketing. So are you doing what you think is the right way, but it isn't working? The reason is probably because you don't have a strategy. Just doing things randomly without any marketing knowledge. A plan with some direction is the best way to go. If you don't know what you're doing, then your chances of success are very low. Mistake number 2, not understanding in detail who their ideal client is and how their product or service can solve their customers' problems. This, you need to find your ideal client. And that takes some research into what they really are, but understanding who your ideal client is vitally important. You have to understand them so that you can direct your marketing message directly to them, empathizing with their problems and giving them hope with the solution. To message someone, you need to know where they are and what they're doing. So research will help you to find out who your ideal client is, and avatars tell you how to talk to them. The key thing you need to understand about your ideal client is that they are not you. They're not your mum or your sister, brother, dad or friend. They're just like them, but different. They're individuals. They're someone you don't know yet, and it might be worthwhile spending some time to understand them, about them, before you try and sell them anything. You also need to grasp that the demographics of your ideal client are probably different to that of the wider population. Demographics basically means the age, sex, location, occupation, and any other differentiating factors that describe someone. If you're selling knitting patterns, your ideal client isn't just female. They're over 40-something female who lives somewhere cold and is an uber successful businesswoman looking for knitting patterns that are a little bit different to the norm. When you know these things about your ideal clients, you can explore what's important to them. You need to be aware of their problems and challenges and the fears they have surrounding those issues. Mistake number 3, chasing shiny objects, thinking they will get you a quick win. We've all heard of the shiny object syndrome. It's one of the biggest challenges for business owners and entrepreneurs to face. You need to focus on one project at a time to produce your results and finish that project without being distracted by all the other continuously put in front of you. Stay fixed on your targets. One thing at a time is key. If you're juggling multiple projects, how can you expect to produce remarkable results? Mistake number 4. It's a biggie. Hiring a marketing agency or employing someone to do it for you. Employing a marketing agency or someone to do it for you sometimes be an expensive mistake if you don't have any idea about marketing. When you employ an agency or a new employee to run your marketing, to begin with, they probably know very little about your company, your market, your clients, or the problems your product or service solves for those clients. You have to educate them, and this is taking your time, whilst you are also paying them. Lots of agencies that have very defined ways of doing things. They may be Facebook ads experts or email marketing experts, and so will try to push you down the route which is easier for them, not you. If your audience is not where they are spending your money, then you are wasting it. Mistake number 5. Not understanding that all business is human to human. I don't care what you sell or how you sell it, all of us are in the business of selling human-based solutions to our fellow humans. In every case, you are interacting with another human being. Your product may be your deliverable, but it is the experience of interacting with you that counts. How do you ensure that your customer is satisfied? How do you ensure that the person interacting with your brand gets what he or she wants? How do you go about enhancing their experience of interacting with you? Make number 6. Trying to follow someone else's journey. What worked for them probably won't work for you. If you're trying to mimic someone else's success, really doesn't work. They have a different journey. If you're both trying to get to London, but they start from Paris and you start from Manchester, then either you have to get to Paris first, or a better way is to plan your own journey. So it may have worked for them, but it won't work for you. And mistake number 7, not investing in the business or themselves. If you don't invest in your business, then nothing will change. You will not be any better or worse off than you are now. But if you do invest in it, then you can stay focused on what is important and achieve more because of the accountability that investing gives. By investing, we mean spending money on projects and activities that contribute to the long-term growth of your business, as opposed to day-to-day expenses, items such as office supplies and staff salaries. Focusing on today as opposed to the future is a common mistake that business owners make. It may be because they think their business will grow quickly enough without investment, or perhaps they simply don't realize the amount of effort that's needed for them to achieve success. It's important to invest in your business because it shows you and those close to you that this is what you are committed to. It may sound obvious, but successful business people don't get there by accident. They know the value of investing in their business and how it will provide them with security down the track. Investing early on is important because the sooner money starts coming in, the quicker your capital begins working for you. If your goal is profit, then the best way to achieve it is through investment by expanding your customer base. Providing value for money matters more to customers these days as margins have been squeezed, which means it is important to provide as much value as you can at a fair price. To do this, you need to invest in your marketing as well as other areas. So these are the 7 big mistakes to avoid. In part 2 of the training, I will show you how to define your ideal client. Now you might be thinking, I already know my customers, but I implore you, use the process I'm about to show you to get crystal clear and sure exactly who it is that you are serving. Okay, until it is crystal clear, until you absolutely positively know who it is that you're serving, who is that person who desperately needs what you have to offer. Until you know exactly who this person is, do not start mapping out your digital strategy. Don't do it yet. Don't start buying ads. Don't start marketing. Don't start writing emails. It's too soon. So let me show you the process. All the things you do is based on who your ideal customer is. Knowing them changes everything. What problem they are trying to solve, what product or service they are looking for. How can we best reach that person with our marketing strategy? Defining your ideal customer is critical to understanding who will buy from you. By focusing on the right people, marketing efforts lead towards a more profitable business with a clarity of goals. When you're marketing, you should be marketing to an individual, your ideal customer. Yes, this will actually be a group of people, but they will all have the same or very similar profile, which makes them ideally suited to having a problem solved by using your product or service. Now, your product may appeal to different groups for different reasons, and you may have more than one product. It is important to define a profile for each product group pair. If you try and market to everybody, you'll be marketing to nobody. So we're doing this to clarify who you serve, clarify what value you deliver, and this will guide all your marketing. We do this using a 5-step process. We initially ask questions. You may already have a client who you regard as your ideal client, so use them as your model. If you think of something you would like to be a client, or when you designed your product, your service, you obviously had someone in mind, so use them. Step 1. Now we have your ideal client in mind, we start with step 1, what are their demographics and interests? questions like age, sex, occupation, income, education level, marital status, location, books, what events and what brands and influencers they actively follow and engage with. This will give you an idea of exactly who they are. Step 2 is defining what are their frustrations and fears. So what keeps them up at night? What annoys and or frustrates them? What challenges do they face on a daily basis, big and small? Who or what is standing in their way or in the way of their success and happiness? What are some key systems in their life job that frequently fail? What's something they're forced to interact with that's difficult to manage or understand? And what features or lack of features do they regularly complain about in related products or services? Step 3 is wants and aspirations. What do they want for themselves? What do they want for the people around them? What do they aspire to be? What goals have they set for themselves? What values do they hold dear? And what are their secret desires? Step 4. There must be some must-have features. Expectation of service. Price budget considerations. Quality. Are there any known deal killers? What are some common objections that must be overcome? And any additional stakeholders or decision makers that need to be involved in the process. Now, not all these questions in the first 4 steps may be relevant for your situation, but by asking yourself the questions, you are getting a much better understanding of who you serve. In step 5, we will define where they are now and where they want to be. We do this by breaking it down into 5 areas. We have, feel, what is their average day like, what is their current status, and good versus evil point are they concerned about. So have. What do they have before that they don't have after? Or what do they have, what do they have now that they don't want? What is their emotional state like before compared to the emotional state after? What's a day in the life of your customer like before receiving the value of your product or service compared to after? What's a particularly bad day like? What's their ideal day like? Describe the status of your customer before and after receiving the value of your product or service. Status changes the story someone tells about themselves, and this is very powerful. And good versus evil. What greater philosophical evil does your product or service allow your customer to defeat as a core beliefs and purposes? So for an example of this, we will use this commercial from Chatbooks, which you can find on YouTube later. But roughly the story is that here is a mother with 3 young kids who is running around trying to do everything whilst keeping them safe. They're grown up fast, so she would like to document their early lives with photos, but doesn't have the time or expertise, and it's too expensive to get albums created. Along comes Chatbooks, which takes all the hassle out of the process for a reasonable price. So let's look at the before and after grid for this ideal customer. So first off, the have. Before, thousands of pics stuck on a phone. After, a magazine of your own life. They feel, before, they feel overwhelmed, frustrated and tired. After, accomplished. Average day, chaos mixed with cute moments. After, still chaotic, but cute moments are remembered. And status, a frazzled mum everyone pities. Afterwards, a scrapbooking supermum. And good versus evil. Before, life is moving too fast. And after, able to slow down a bit. So, why we do this? Messaging is everything and everywhere. It is the most important part of marketing, is your message. It simplifies and clarifies the value proposition, so you can actually say what value you are providing. And it causes us to fall in love with our business all over again. It's good for you and good for your team, because you're only dealing with people who you want to deal with. And we've got to remember, a great sales message simply articulates the shift. That's the transformation from the before state to the after state. And defining your ideal customer enables you to do this. And now we come to part 3 of the training. How to build a marketing operating system for your business so you can get more sales with less work. I kind of want to start with the problems, so let's start with the bad news. First, the problem, and you know why your business likely isn't growing as fast as it should. I'm not saying that you've not got a very successful company, but I know even successful companies wish they were more successful. We see that the number one problem is that you find the sales are unpredictable. So sales are either coming through new product launches, new features, releases, a new promotion, or a holiday sale, or something like that. And none of these things are necessarily predictable. And so you kind of get this roller coaster feeling. The other thing that we hear is companies really wanted to market, but they don't want to be this guy. They don't want to be the kind of like pushy used car salesman kind of sleazy person. So obviously you don't want to turn into a pushy salesperson. And so a lot of companies don't do any marketing at all because they don't want to be accused of being a pushy marketer. So we want to acknowledge that. Obviously we don't want that either. And then the third big problem that we see is a lot of companies out there just burning cash. They're doing marketing and they're growing, but they're doing marketing and it isn't profitable. It's the kind of thing where it's happening in sales. Sales are coming in, but they're losing money and kind of hoping that it will work out later. My assumption is that you've not got tons of money to burn. I'm assuming that you want to grow, but you want to grow both predictably and profitably. So let's talk about that. So what is our objective? Where is it we want to go? When it's all said and done, is what we want is sales to be predictable. We want to be where we can anticipate almost down to the penny how much revenue you're going to generate in the next month based on your marketing performance this month. Because that's really how you're able to scale with confidence. That's when you feel comfortable making these investments. We also want our marketing to build trust. A lot of times people think about marketing. They say, I know we need to market, but how do I market? Because we're going to lose trust. Look, doing marketing the right way will actually build brand integrity. You can actually create trust throughout the sales process. And I'm going to show you how you do that. And then, of course, we want to be profitable. I'm going to assume again that you don't have that money to burn. I'm going to assume, even if you do have some funding, that you would like to grow with greater capital efficiency. So nothing I'm going to share with you today is going to involve making kind of wild and crazy bets. Does that sound good? I want to give you a formula or a framework for predictable growth, and I want to put you on a path to doubling your sales. Now let's dive into the framework itself. We call it the growth triad. The growth triad, we've found that if a company wants predictable, sustainable growth, there are 3 assets that they must have in their business. The first one is they must have a documented journey. Okay, they must have a documented journey where they're able to say, this is how customers are created. So this is how they hear about us. This is how they engage with us. This is the next step and the next step. And then ultimately become a buyer, and then they begin to consume, and then they get excited, and then they ascend, they buy some more, and then they advocate and they refer. We need to document that journey because you cannot optimize what you have not documented. So number one is a documented customer journey. Being very clear on how do customers happen, how do customers get created from scratch. The second big thing that companies need is actionable metrics. So in a lot of companies they have dashboards. They track all different kinds of things at different times. Most companies are primarily tracking vanity metrics. We don't want that, right? We want actionable metrics. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then finally, they need the tools and tactics. Obviously, what got you here won't get you there. And what's going to get you to the next level are going to be the same as those different tools and tactics. But in my experience, a lot of marketers, they really want to focus in on the tools and tactics. Because you're about to see, if you don't have all three, you don't have predictable growth. Let's kind of dive in and talk about, does it look like if you just have two of them? Because obviously, if you have a documented journey, but you're not tracking anything, you don't have tactics, then you kind of just got a sheet of paper. If you've got metrics but nothing else, you kind of have a Excel spreadsheet, no sales. And if you have tools and tactics but you don't have a journey, you're not tracking anything, you're probably losing more money than you're making. What if you have two of the three, but yet we're missing one? So let's say you have taken the time to document your journey. If you have taken the time to document your journey and you are tracking your metrics, but you don't have tools and tactics, this is when you feel stuck in the mud. All right, so we have a documented journey, we're getting some metrics like we're tracking the right stuff, but we just don't know what to do to optimize those journeys. Then when things aren't going correctly, that's when you can feel stuck. All right, let's say you have a documented journey and you have tools and tactics, but you don't have metrics. That's when you've kind of like a bull in a china shop. So that's when you know where you're going. There's lots of activity, you're doing a lot of things, but you have no idea what's working. So you're just kind of flailing around and trying everything, having a whole lot of fun doing it, but you're not tracking. Let's say you have tools and tactics and you've got actual metrics, but you haven't documented your journey. Believe it or not, this is the one we see happening most often. So many businesses, even marketers, don't understand the value of documenting their customer journey. They get that they need to track stuff, so they get that they need the tools and tactics, but they don't do this. And this is when we see the one-hit wonder. The dreaded one-hit wonder. And this is when you, as a company, you're looking back and saying, everything was so much easier 2 years ago. Why did things work then and not now? And nothing's really worked since. So we come to the documented journey. You cannot optimize what you have not documented, okay? So think number one is a documented customer journey. Being very clear on how do customers happen, how do customers get created from scratch. So why do we do this? We can't optimize what we haven't documented. Sequence is critical. And this is the flagship framework. Literally everything else in your marketing will be driven by this documented journey. You can't have predictable growth if you haven't first documented how strangers become prospects, prospects become customers, and customers become raving and referring fans. If you think of a bad sales process and then think of a good sales process, usually the difference is sequence. Sequence matters. The sequence we use is shown here. Going from bottom left to top right, we take an unhappy person who has never heard of you or your product to a successful and happy customer who has become a raving fan of you and your company. In the first stage, they have to become aware of you. So The prospect will see an ad, find you in search, hears about you by a referral, etc. Next, we need to engage. So the prospect will read a blog post about you, engage with you on social media, watch a video you've produced, etc. Then we come to the subscribe, and this is where the prospect opts in to receive some gated content from you, or it's initial contact, but they've actually given you some details so you can follow up with them. Then the prospect makes a small purchase, so they're you're not putting too much skin in the game at this point, but they trust you enough, and once they've made a small purchase, they're likely to go on and do more. And this is important. The customer gets actual value from this initial small purchase. If you don't get value from it, you will never see them again. But then we come to the ascend stage, and this is where you actually promote your core offer. And if they take that, then you can do upsells, you can expand to other products within your range, and you actually want to retain them so they'll come back more often to buy your products. Now, your happy customers gives a testimonial or case study. This is something that you could ask them for a testimonial, so that's where the marketing comes in. And then your successful customer will actively promote your brand. And in this case, again, your marketing can come in because you can set up a refer. They can give them a small commission for referring people, or an affiliate link or something like that. And then you get your happy customers. Sequence matters. Most marketers try to propose on the first date. Don't do it. The second big thing that companies they need are actual metrics. So a lot of companies that have dashboards, they track all different kinds of things at different times. Most companies are primarily tracking vanity metrics. We don't want that. We want actionable metrics, something that indicates that your marketing is working and adding to your bottom line. This is the tool we use to track our metrics. Very simple but effective. It's purely a spreadsheet, but it's how you use it. Here are some of the example metrics to follow in each stage of the journey. And then we come to the tools and tactics and the fun part. The third thing are the tools and tactics, and this is where everyone really geeks out. This is what they like. But what I would say is if you just chase the tools and the tactics willy-nilly, you're kind of in that mode where you're chasing the shiny objects. You're in that mode where you're building up an inventory of half-built bridges. This is where you acquire a new tool or tactic and start to use it, but for whatever reason you abandon it before it has worked because you have found something else, another shiny object. That is what we call half-built bridges to your desired destination. The growth scorecard will show you which stage of the value journey you need to improve, and so which specific tools and tactics you should utilize. Each section of the journey has its own tools and tactics. Examples are: the tools in the aware stage will find your ideal traffic source. The engage stage uses tools and tactics for content delivery. The subscribe stage, lead generation. Convert, how to create predictable sales. Excite, how to provide value. And ascend, how to maximize revenue. Finally, we have messaging, which is used across the whole of the journey. Can you see how clarifying and documenting this process is a critical first step in this growth and optimization process? Clarity is critical. So for each stage of the journey, we double the effectiveness of one stage so that you could effectively double your business. Or what if we increase 2 or 3 stages by 50%, or every stage by just 10%. Now you can see we call this a comprehensive framework for growth. By optimizing each stage of the value journey, we are optimizing each variable in the growth formula. And growth isn't just predictable, it's inevitable. And you have to do it one stage at a time. So here's what we've covered so far. Part 1 was the 7 biggest mistakes that separate the struggling small business owners from the successful ones. Part 2, how to define your ideal customers so that you can target and communicate with them more effectively. And Part 3 was how to build a marketing operating system for your business so you can get more sales with less work. So this is where you are currently, wasting time and money trying to market when it's not your skill, not having time to apply your skills, the ones you set your business up to utilize to grow your business, frustrated, so affecting personal performance and no confidence in your marketing. Any businesses that have consistent flow of customers, clients to allow for future planning, business not consistent to allow for leisure time, and you cannot choose clients so sometimes you get a bad one. You feel stuck and out of options, or are you? You may still be stuck, but now I hope you see that you do have some options. This marketing game is not all that scary. With our help, you can change all that. I want to give you an opportunity. I'm going to offer you a completely free strategy session. On this call, we will find out where you are in your business today and give you some idea of where to go next to get the improvement you desire. We even have something in our portfolio that can help you along the way. Here are some of our existing clients and what they have to say about us. Dave Flummer, your time given to me has made the process relatively stress-free. I'll be back for more. Hayley Kutchie, the help they provide for us would take a lot of time to learn ourselves, so I wouldn't be where I am today without them. Jane Pack, be it marketing messages or tech support, when you work with Beverly Hutton marketing team, you are never on your own and you are always in good hands. Mary Todd, if you want genuine, honest, reliable, innovative support in marketing, whether online or offline, you will be in good hands with Beverly Hutton Marketing. And Robbie Lindstrom, a Finn living in Sweden, had trouble with our web shop and got help from Beverly Hutton Marketing. Got advice on where we could improve. The measures suggested worked wonderfully, and now we are back on the right track. Very professional and very nice people too. Thank you, Robbie. So join our community. It all starts with your strategy session. Then you may be offered a chance to work with us further. Taking this call is literally the most important thing you can do right now. Go ahead and book your call now and fill out the form on the next page. There should be a link around the webinar. We have only a few spots over the next few days. We'll unfortunately cancel your call if you don't fill out the simple form on the next page. We only have a few slots over the next few days. So are you going to remain stuck where you are, wasting time trying to market, not having time to apply your skills, and frustrated? Apply for a call today. We can't wait to speak to you.